Hi, Mike DePung here, and I'm welcoming you again to Spirit Hill, to a place where we can together think about the expression of spirit in all of this, because it's the reason we came here to see and experience that which is part of our own co-creation and to see the beauty of the interconnectedness of it all. And we're on this, we do this through healing and love and light, which is where heal comes from. I tried to make a video several times last week for the Earth Day celebrations, and it just didn't work because the depths of what I feel is really sometimes difficult to express, and I probably do it better in writing, and I'll reference some of the articles that I've written in the past at this time of the year. But for now, I want you to be aware of a few things, or let me say, I want to share a few things with you. You can decide if you want to be aware of them or not. When we think about the conditions that we see in the world today, when we think about the social issues that arise, and we look at the environmental issues that we face, they're not disconnected. They're very much one and the same energy source, and that energy source, by and large, in the collective, and I share this for the purpose of talking about the collective energies so that we can decide individually how we want to interact with that collective energy, how we want to add to that collective energy, because whether we know it or not, we add to it. So it's a matter of ego or heart, and the choice is each one of ours. If you want to be happier, though, if you want to know the reasons why you came here to live, the issues that deal with love and peace and joy and happiness, then you'll choose heart. But we come here for different reasons. So these things are all connected. When we look at something like the racial protests, the racial inequities, the elements of racism that are still with us very much so today, a lot of people are hesitant to take responsibility, any responsibility for that, especially those who have been in the majority. The majority that includes those who are the oppressors, the majority that includes those who initiated things like slavery, the consequences of which are still with us today. Or when you look at things like at issues like the reservations for Indigenous peoples, all of that is ugliness. All of those things are expressions of ego energy, and they are things that we don't like to think about, a lot of us. But here's the reality. The reality is this exactly. We can't forget the past. And I don't mean forget it in terms of not remembering, but I mean forgetting in terms of not addressing what exists, what is. What's the interconnection between this and the environment? Well, I'm going to just lay this out very briefly today and may take it up in a few other subsequent videos. When we look at the condition of ecosystems around the earth today, and I will link below to an article that lays this out clearly if you wish to read more about it. Only 3% of our ecosystems are intact. When we look at what is left, in essence, the bones of what should be here from about 500 years ago, we see that only 3% of what should be here is here. The elimination of species of all kinds, flora and fauna, are the reason why these ecosystems aren't intact. So our treatment of Mother Earth, our inability to acknowledge that spirit is in all, and that we would treat all of nature, all of the environment, that we would relate to Mother Earth in an attitude of respectfulness, in an attitude of acknowledgement that spirit exists and runs through all of her creation, all of that which we're part of, then we're going to be left with bones if we don't see that, if we don't acknowledge it. We're going to be left with just the skeletal structure of what should be, and that spells decreasing ability to enjoy what we should be able to enjoy. And this isn't just a spiritual issue, and this is a religious issue. This is a reality issue. When it's gone, it's gone. And I want to share some things along the way over the next few days that will address this. But for now, I want you to get this connection if you would hear this. When we look at what is left of the past in terms of social issues, we see it's that same attitude, that there was no respect, that there was no balance, that there was no mutual acknowledgement of spirit in one another. We look at social issues like racism, like the oppression and the genocide executed against Indigenous peoples. It's the exact same attitude that has been expressed when we look about nature. And so I'm going to leave it with that for now, for today, because it's something I feel very strongly about. In fact, there's a poem I wrote, and I will explain that maybe tomorrow or the next day. But I'm going to probably print it below here in the little description underneath. So until next video, I hope that you will just sit and consider with me, sit here on Spirit Hill with me, and consider where this might lead. Blessings.